In this video, we're going to go through some basic functionality on how to create this rocket body inside Maya. Okay, so before we jump into the detail, we need to understand how object works in Maya. Okay, so make sure you set this tab to poly modeling and the drop down box to modeling, and let's choose maybe a sphere. Now, polygon object is made of this component. Okay, so it's made of out of vertex, out of edge, and also out of face. Okay, so what it means that vertex means it's a dot, edge means it's a line, whereas a face is referring to the area that is enclosed by this line. Okay, so let's go back to Maya and look at those components. Okay, so choose the object, right, and right click and hold your mouse. Okay, then you're gonna see all these components that I just mentioned just now. Okay, so let's choose a vertex. Okay, so all these purple dot, okay, that's what vertex is. Okay, so that is a dot, and all these dots can also be manipulated by using move, rotate, or scale. Okay, so this is what move do. You actually move this dot. Okay, you can also select a couple of them and also move this dot at the same time. You can also rotate, so this is what rotate does. Okay, and also scale, bigger and smaller. Okay, same thing with the edge. You can select one of them and you can move around. Okay, up and down, left and right. And you can also select a couple of them like this. I am pressing shift, by the way, to add to the selection. So I can select all this edge and I can move it around, and I can scale it bigger, smaller, and I can also rotate. Okay, same thing with the face. So right click and choose face, and I can select one of them, move it, scale, scale, and rotate. Right, and I can also choose a couple of them. Okay, I'm pressing shift, by the way. Okay, and if you want to deselect, you can also press shift and just click on it, so it will deselect from the selection. Okay, so this is what modeling will do in Maya. Okay, so you're actually moving all these components one by one to create the shape that you want it to be. Okay, so let's delete the sphere, and I'm going to use the cylinder to create the shape of the rocket. Okay, and I'm going to make this a little bit taller, so maybe around this size. Okay, maybe I'm going to my vertex, and I'm going to push it up to somewhere around there, maybe. Yeah, there. And I'm going to make it smaller. Now, as you can see here, right, okay, if I move that smaller and bigger, right, I couldn't get the shape that I wanted to be like this. Okay, that indicates that you need more line in your object to create something like this shape. Okay, otherwise, whatever you do, you just cannot get the shape that you want. Okay, so the basic principle is that the more line you have in your object, the better, or the more detail you can put to your object. Okay, so let's put more line. So you can click the object and you can go to mesh tool and choose insert edge loop. Okay, so the way this tool works is that you can click and drag. Okay, so I'm going to choose one of these line and click and drag and let go. So once you're happy with the placement, just let go of the mouse. Okay, happy with the placement and let go. Okay, so I'm going to right click. Okay, then right click and then choose edge. Now, as you can see here, I can now like get the shape a little bit more detail. Okay, just by having these two lines. Okay, so I can create like this shape, because previously you cannot get this shape. Okay, so let's add more line. So I'm gonna go to Mesh Tool, Insert Edge Loop, and just keep adding line as I need it. Probably somewhere around there. Okay, this should be enough. Okay, now I want to click this select tool, right? I'm gonna double click it so that way I can double click or choose the edge loop much faster as doing it one by one. Okay, so right now I'm double clicking it, and I want to scale downward. Okay, scale this a little bit bigger just to create like a capsule shape. Somewhere there, somewhere there, somewhere there. Okay, same thing with the bottom piece, so I'm going to double click and make this a little bit smaller just to create the capsule like shape. Okay, so make sure you select the correct boxes because you don't want this to be scaled in one direction. Then you can see like the shape it's a little bit distorted right now. Okay, make sure you select the middle box, and then everything should be okay. Okay, so the tip should be a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe like that. Okay. Okay, if you look at the picture again, right, I have to move the body a little bit upward because there is this tail at the bottom that I have to place. Okay, so again, go to my side view. I'm pressing tab. Okay, and I'm push this upward. You make sure you're in the object mode and you push upward so that way you are moving the entire object. Okay, to maybe somewhere there. Now, if you look at the rocket again, right, I think the next easiest thing that you can do is probably this head and the tilt. Okay, so this is basically just a sphere and a cylinder. So go ahead and make those two objects. So click the sphere, push it up, right? Oh, another feature that I'm using is that I'm pressing F. So whenever I'm outside the camera, right, or if the object is out of focus, I can press F in that particular object, and Maya will automatically focus in this viewport. Okay, I think it's a very handy tool. So if your object is outside the view, you can press F. Okay, it will focus automatically. Okay, so let's go ahead and shrink this a little bit smaller. Okay, and place it somewhere around there. Okay, and the next one is to create the tip. Okay, use a cylinder. Scale it accordingly. Make it a little bit thinner and taller, and place it somewhere there. Now, I'm going to press 4. So 4 will let you go to the wireframe. So right now you are in the wireframe mode, which you can see the other side or the back side of the object. Okay, so I don't want this to be placed like that, which is I think it's a bad placement for the tip. Okay, so the tip should be somewhere around here, probably. So a little bit penetration is okay. And when you're happy with the placement, you can press 5 to go back to the way it was. Okay, so 4 for the wireframe and 5 to normal shading mode. Okay, so I think everything looks okay, but before we save the file, I'm going to go to the outliner, right? And if you look at the outliner, right, the object name, it's pretty bad. Okay, so right now, like you have P cylinder 1 and P sphere 1, which does not indicate anything. Okay, so I think it's a good habit starting from now that you try to rename every object properly, because later when you're dealing with a bigger scene where you have many objects inside your scene, it will be difficult to tell which one is which. Okay, so I think it's a good idea to start renaming this from now. So maybe I can rename this to body, okay, underscore GEO, which stands for geometry. Okay, and I can select the sphere, and I can name this to GEO, and I can rename this to tip_GEO. Okay, so right now everything is named properly. Okay, so at this point you can actually save the file. So you can go to File, Save As, and you can type rocket. Okay, so it can either be .ma or .mp. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video now.